Hello, girls. How's everyone? Here we are, another coffee chat, and we got a really cool topic to talk about, I think. Anyways, we want to talk about some phases of the moon. And right now, we are in the waxing phase, soon to be the full moon, which is happening this Friday. So it's just so fascinating to me how our bodies are very much in alignment with the moon cycles, especially for those of you that don't have a period. You can really tune in to that. If you do have a period, then you have that cycle. And the other really cool thing someone shared, which I knew, but you hear it and then it doesn't land, is that if we did not spend so much time indoors, let's say we lived outside, all the women would be in on the same cycle, but because we have so much artificial light, it throws off our cycles. Isn't that cool? They actually did a study of these surfers in California who basically spend all day outside, and the whole group of them cycle at the same time. Isn't that fascinating? Like, oh, nature is just so brilliant. So right now, your energy, girls, should be going like this. And it's going to come to a peak at the full moon and maybe a day or two after. And then it's going to slowly start to decline after that. So this week, you may have noticed, wow, I have a lot of energy. Maybe you're at the gym and you're just feeling really great. You wake up, you've got lots of energy. No surprise. It's because of the phase of the moon that we're in, which is peaking at the full moon. And I know for me, Nicole and I were just chatting about this. And if you guys have tuned in for any length of time, you know I am not a foodie and you rarely catch me in the kitchen. But it's been 3 days in a row this week that I have actually made full meals. And just before jumping on this call today, I made kale chips. I made this lasagna soup without pasta, but using zucchini as noodles instead. And it's so good. My whole family likes it. And this delicious chocolate pudding loaded with protein. Did that all this morning and then I made stuff before. So you may notice that your energy levels, woo, and enjoy it because as I said, it's going to start to wane a little bit after the full moon. And this is also a good time to start thinking about what you want to release. That's what the full moon is all about. And that's going to be happening on Friday. And it's a great time to just get quiet and think about what's not serving you. What thoughts do you want to release, or energy about something, or habits, or whatever? It's such a great time to do that. So now let's turn it over to Nicole, as I've been talking about all this food. What should we be eating, Nicole, during this week, ideally?
Hi, yes. So let me share. It's funny because I've been experimenting, of course, with my own body through this moon cycle. This is the second month in a row of being very aware of the moon cycle. So some of you might follow Dr. Minnie Peltz. We're both coaches under Fasting Like a Girl. And what Dr. Mindy terms this phase is the manifestation phase. Manifesting, as I like to say, you're going to get a lot of shit done. And she's getting a lot of stuff done in the kitchen. And so be aware of that. Just tune in, journal it out, start to see a trend maybe in each of the months to really realize how this is really showing up for you. I think that's just kind of fun as women to be connected. But food wise, so this is a fun phase because we get to eat complex carbohydrates a little bit more than we typically do. And I like that. I love carbs. Like, who doesn't like carbohydrates? Now, of course, we want to make sure that they are healthy carbs, complex carbs coming from, Mother Nature, like a sweet potato or your fruits or your vegetables or your nuts or your seeds or maybe some lentils or quinoa. That's the type of like complex carbs that I'm looking at. So you got kind of this 5-day window. We don't really want to be fasting too much. This is when our hormones are all have woken up in our body. So we've got estrogen, we've also got testosterone, and we have progesterone. So that's why it's kind of like the manifestation phase. All of them are in favor of us right now. But we also have to make sure that we're feeding our hormones and not starving our hormones. So you might hear the words of like, it's your time to have a hormone feasting day. So we have 5 of them. So we still want to focus on our protein. So on average, Melissa and I, when we coach women, again, depending on what your goal is, if your goal, let's say, is weight loss, we're around that 75 grams to 100 grams of protein. If it is more of like serious muscle building and putting muscle on in at your ideal weight, you're even going to go higher. So it's going to change just depending on what your health goal is. So I just want to make that clear. But let's say, for example, you are a woman that wants to lose some weight, which we attract a lot of women that want to lose that 10 to 15, even more. So if it even just say 75 grams of protein, that in itself is a big stretch for a lot of women. So stay at 75 grams to start as your first protein goal. Fat, we want to always be having our healthy fats. Healthy fats can include your avocados, your olives, your healthy oils, not seed oils. Stay away from the poisonous seed oils like canola oil and soya oils, all in that processed food. We want to stick with like an organic olive oil or a coconut oil. You know, fats coming from your nuts and your seeds, that type of stuff. You can have, obviously, you're going to have fat from like some of your meats and your proteins, depending on what meat you're having, but healthy fats. You want to make sure that at every meal, when you look at your plate, that you see your protein, you have a healthy fat, and you want to have your vegetables and, of course, your fruit. And so I believe when we feed our body the right meal, if your plate is built right, that you will be full and satisfied for 4 to 5 hours. You shouldn't feel like you need to snack. If you feel like, oh my gosh, I have to have another snack, you probably haven't got your protein and fat and your vegetable and fruit portion right. Okay, so we can work on that. But that's what we want you to be doing. Your complex carbs, I would say you can shoot between 100 grams to about 150 grams net carb. That's a lot. If you track it on an app called Carb Manager as an example, you will see that you will be enjoying a feast of beautiful complex carbs that will nourish, especially your progesterone, because as Melissa said, we're heading into this season of peak performance on all areas, and then it's going to come down. So this is the time to really feed our progesterone and nourish our body and also have the energy to do what we want to do. So that's how I would eat. Fasting could look like anywhere between 13 and 15 hours at a max. Try it on, see how it feels this week.
So good. And with respect to working out, this is the week, if you want to be going for personal bests, to do that, to really push yourself hard in the gym, to do another set or to lift heavier weights. Try it out and see how you are feeling. And then also get in those longer walks. Do the more intense cardio, like HIIT workouts, to really challenge your heart, because it's a muscle too, and you need to do that. So this is the week to go hard and challenge yourself for personal bests, because next week it's going to taper off a little bit, and you may not have that same energy and not have that, oh, I can do this. So give it a go this week. And yeah, and journal all this stuff that Nicole and I were talking about, so that you can see what's happening to your body. And as Nicole said, start to see a pattern. And once you have that pattern down pat, you can literally run your life around that. So when you've got a really busy week, maybe you're doing presentations at work or you're pushing for things in the gym, you can look and say, okay, here's the full moon the week before, that's going to be my busy week. Whereas after that, maybe a couple weeks out after that, that's going to be a quieter time. Just before the beginning of the new moon, you're going to have the quietest energy. So that's not maybe when you're feeling most social or big presentations or things like that. So it's so fascinating and so cool, and so just easier when you know this cycle and the energy and why, and you can really work with it.
Awesome. Thanks so much. And I just want to do a kind of friendly reminder, couple ways that you can work with us. We get that question all the time. First off, we have our free Facebook group called the Midlife Sisterhood with Nicole and Melissa. We're doing some free coaching all month long. If you're not in that group, I would highly, highly recommend to get over, and we will accept your invite, and you can come into that wonderful community where we are cheering you on and sharing some of our teachings, but some of our funny humor and recipes and all of that fun stuff. So that's the first way. Just come in for that freebie. Secondly, the way that you can work with us is we actually have a 1 year ongoing Facebook group where we go in on our Zoom called the Loving Her Project. It's a 1 year program that you can come in at any time and get teachings from us on a weekly basis and be your coaches and ask questions all year round, which is amazing. So we're like in your back pocket. And then we have this incredible self-paced program that we put so much love and education behind. It's called the Menopause Reset. And that is a self-paced online course that you can purchase at any time and get started. If you're a woman going through the transition and you're struggling and you're not really sure where to start, it's a very affordable, doable, easy course to follow at your pace, and you can, and have a workbook with it. So I just wanted to kind of share that because sometimes we forget to, I'm going to say honk our own horn, but we do a lot of stuff behind the scenes, and we're like, man, we need to let women know of all of these options, and we're so excited. We're pulling all of this together, and we're working on this incredible website that will have everything together, and that's our big project that we're working on behind the scenes, because what we're realizing is that women are starving for education and guidance, and we want to bring that together in one area so that we can really help women win and be self-empowered, so that you can make some great choices and get to this beautiful place where you have the energy and the vitality and the confidence to live a kick-ass life. So thank you for following us. We're so grateful for you. We'll see you next week on our coffee chat.